I'm actually going to move on to a bit of a game now, so I call it name association. I'm going to give you some sentences, and you tell me what wrestler from any era that you've met that best fits that description. And the first one is funniest person in the locker room.
Me. Now, Roddy Piper, I love Roddy Piper. He was funny. He was funny.
Did he have specific jokes, or was it just his general demeanor?
Just his natural personality. I mean, he might be playing a rib on you, might be playing a joke on you. I mean, I've had to knock 2 or 3 locks off of my bag where he thought that was funny. It wasn't real funny to me, but Piper always thought it was funny. But I'd say Roddy, yeah.
Right, so the next question I've got is the most beautiful woman wrestler / valet in the business.
It's hard because I don't watch a lot of the new stuff.
In your day.
In my day.
In your day.
The fabulous Moolah.
Never. Not a chance.
You remember her?
Of course I do, yeah.
Moolah? Yeah. Well,
that's why I know you're lying.
Them ladies back then were built to fight. They wasn't built to be pretty. Back then, I mean, I don't know. None of them look like they do today. I know that.
Yeah. No, fair enough then. The wrestler who most needed to go to the laundry more than they did that you wrestled. The smelliest.
Usually somebody stunk, only tell them to take a bath. He'd tell them. I mean, there's a couple that you'd smell, but just offhand, I don't remember. But there's a couple. Well, I'll tell you who the worst one would have been Buddy Roberts. One of the Freebirds, Buddy Roberts.
Yeah.
He would be the worst one. They was telling me he's in Louisiana, and they used to play ribs on each other. Anyway, somebody put a dead possum in his bag, and for some reason, he hadn't had to open his bag for a week or so. Got the show, pulled it out. They said it had maggots. He brushed them off and put the tights on. So he's about the nastiest one I can tell you about. Yeah, because I do remember that story.
I was just amazingly, you're not the first person to tell me that story as well. You're not the first person to say Buddy Roberts. I'll ask you a couple more, then we'll carry on. The heaviest smoker of cigarettes.
What kind?
Any just regular packs of cigarettes, not the sticky icky
not
green.
Not the electric kind.
No.
A lot of guys. I mean, Dick Slater smoked some, but I don't know if he would have been the worst one. I don't know because most of them didn't smoke in the dressing room. They didn't smoke in the dressing room too much. And if you didn't run around with them, a lot of us didn't run around like they'd be like we'd have our little me and Nick Patrick, the referee, maybe my cousin Johnny and Brad Armstrong. We'd ride together, and didn't know them even smoke cigarettes.
I'll move on then. Cigarettes. I'll move on then. The most legit.
You ain't going to ask who smoked the most left-handed?
You could do, yeah. Yeah.
I did. It was me.
Good man.
It's medicinal, though. It was medicinal.
You got the glaucoma going, have you?
Yes, sir. Yes, I got bad anxiety, too.
Yeah, I can tell you're shrinking violet. The most memorable backstage fight.
Shoot, about the only backstage fight I ever seen was Wrestling 2 and Frankie Kane in Macon, Georgia one night. And Frankie, I don't know. I I think Frankie Kane came out on top at the end of the day. He might have bid him to do it, but he was on top. You know, street fight's a street fight.
Yeah. Most best enhancement talent jobber that you ever wrestled, or that you would look forward to wrestling.
Just somebody like on TV that you just beat.
Yeah.
George South. I'd say George South. As far as I didn't wrestle him a lot, but as far as a really good hand, George South is good. That was his cup of tea. And Mike Jackson was another good one. He'd come to Georgia. Mike was good, you know. And when I first started wrestling, I'd go down for Nick and we'd wrestle in Birmingham TV, and Mike would come in there back then, you know. So, but yeah, I would say Mike, and of course, and then both of them on top of that, they would be the bookers of the job guys that they needed.
Yeah.
So I would say them two just off the top of my head.
Okay, and very last one is the most talented wrestler you ever worked with.
Besides me?
Besides you, you can work with yourself, but the most talented wrestler you work with.
I worked with the Invisible Man one time, so that was pretty much me. No, Harley Race. I love wrestling Harley Race.
Just simple as that. He was just the man.
Yeah. Oh, he's a general. He's a general. You know, I know Terry Dory and the Briscoes. They were all champions, but they were like when I got in, they were, you know, they wasn't a champ. Harley was a champion, and so I always got. And anytime Harley come to Atlanta, I always got to wrestle. And I guess that's because they all liked to wrestle me because they were all older guys, and you know, two older guys beating up each other. You know, like wrestling too, you can do that with because they love wrestling too. But like they all want to wrestle me because they knew they could beat the shit out of me, and the people get that sympathy, and then me make that comeback, and so that, you know, I never had no. They all helped me. That's what I told somebody the other day. I said, you know, I mean, you think about the guys: Blackjack Lanza, Baron Von Raschke, Ox Baker, King Kong Moscow, the Briscoes, the Funks, Ole and G, Stan, all them guys, man. And that's not even half of them that come through Atlanta that I got to wrestle. So I got to wrestle, you know, the best of the best. And that was the good thing about the territory. These kids down these independent shows, well, first off, they watch the new stuff and they don't understand. They don't understand, like we're in West Virginia right now. I'm in West Virginia. And them West Virginia rednecks, they like to see, they want to believe. They still want to believe. Like last night, we went to that show, and I went out as a babyface manager. And so they were figuring their finish out. I said, wait a minute. I said, listen to me. I said, I'm not going to be back here. I said, listen to my idea and tell me. And because I already told them they all like to try to do them long, dragged out finishes that they can't remember, and the fans don't get either. I said, simpler is better. The simpler, the better. See, anyway, we did a little deal. I went out with the baby faces, cut my price. It's because West Virginia, we used to be up here all the time. Man, it's been so long. I used to love to come to West Virginia. I said, I got cousins up here, you know, just carrying on, and told them what a pleasure, blah, 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 blah. Well, at the end of the match, they got in the four-way, shot their boys together. Well, the babyface guy I was managing, the boy was getting up. He hit the rope, going to hit him with the Fez press. I grabbed his doggone leg. He tripped, and the boy covered him, and I held his leg. 1, 2, 3. Oh, everybody in there believed that. I had one woman, she was so damn mad, she was going to get up. I told her husband, I said, you better sit down and make her sit down too. He didn't say nothing, but he was mad in hell too. He wanted to get up, but he knew better, You know, I might have had to run from him, but I didn't have to worry about it because he didn't get up. But yeah, they was mad. But just a simple little screw finish like that. You ain't got to jump off the top of a building. It's like a pile driver used to be a finish. And we even back when you'd go to the hospital, you know, or get carried out in the ambulance and come back with a neck collar. And now they give you 2 pile drivers, and they'll beat you up before you can get up. You know, and that's what makes us business, and that's what I try to tell them, you know, because that's what Jerry, I don't know if you ever seen him in Tojo Yamamoto fight. I don't know if you watch old film. But anyway, Jerry, that's what I was taught to do, was sell, because I was that little guy like Jerry. And so I loved selling. Tony Atlas, 270 pounds. He told me one night, because he'd get the big pile. My deal was I'd get them started up. Then when I tagged Tony, it'd be woo, like that. And he told me one night, he said, I'm selling tonight. I said, Tony, that's my job. I said, you're too damn big to sell. He said, what? And where he watched me, and it's one thing to be the little fella, and he was as big or maybe bigger than some of the hills, but he would have him people eating out of his hand. Only get so mad at him, he'd say, he's supposed to sell, you're supposed to come back. He said, I told him I was selling, you know. Only didn't like it, but he wouldn't say nothing about it because he was drawing money, you know. And Tony loved doing it, but he got the point. The people want to see you get beat down so they can holler for you to come back. And with what's going on today, there ain't no beat down to this. It's just spot. They don't even have time to recognize what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I try. Like most of these kids, they watch a WWE or something, they think they know it all anyway. But I talked to a couple of kids last night and was telling them the psychology. I did a seminar. I said, y'all know how you got to train and teach you how to take bumps. I said, what we're going to do is talk about the psychology of the business and, you know, get more out of it like that. I mean, of course, I talked to Moose till I was blue in the face. He still can't do nothing except leave me stranded. Oh, Moose, I didn't see you, baby.